Hey, and welcome everybody. It's a fantastic Tuesday here in Los Angeles, and today we've got a great little show for you. And we're going to be talking about publishing deals, specifically self-publishing, not traditional publishing deals, but some clauses to watch out for, some situations that you may want to avoid because it's come up over and over again. But last week, sorry, just adjusting. Last week, there was someone I was speaking with who was interested in hiring us because they worked with another company previously, were not happy with a variety of things, want to make changes. But as we explored what they could and couldn't do, it was really limiting what was going to be the options with regards to working with us. So I want to run those things by you because if you do choose to pursue some sort of an arrangement with another company, and you're crazy enough to not use book launchers, then I want you to be aware of some of the things to watch out for. And I'm also doing this because a lot of folks watching this aren't a good fit to work with book launchers. So I want to help you avoid a lot of the problems that can come up. So I want to hit those points. Also, there was some questions that have come in around audiobooks and a couple other things. Plus, we've got prizes, so many prizes today. So if you're here live, make sure you're saying hello when you arrive because it's the folks that are here live that I'm going to be giving books away for today. Everyone else knows the drill. If you're watching this as a replay on YouTube or even here on Facebook, in order to be entered to win the book launcher swag, you need to be commenting on the day a video is released inside of YouTube. And then that gets you entered to win some fabulous swag like our #NoBoringBooks mug, which is one of the prizes we'll give away today to the folks, they're already loaded, that have commented on the day a video has been released. All right, so hey, April, welcome, and hello. Hey, it's the A's in the house. Awesome. Love it. Thank you. And I especially like it when you give this video a thumbs up or a heart because it floats across the screen in Facebook and in YouTube. It just makes me happy too. All right. So thank you for being here. Okay, so I've got notes here just so I don't miss any points around this. I'll cover part of this and then we'll draw for books. Oh, I'll tell you though. Here's two of the books that we're going to be giving away today. We've got Screaming for Pleasure by Scott Bradley. Fantastic, fantastic book. And he just had a very successful event here in Los Angeles. He's not from Los Angeles, but he was in town for some horror events. And they had a great signing up at Dark Delicacies, huge turnout, packed house, and it sounds like it was a big hit. Sarah from our team was up there, so super pumped for Scott. So that's one of the books you guys will get to choose from. And then Ron Neitzel's The Green Wizard's Guide. Ron sent me 2 books to give away, so you guys, I'll be giving these away. But you know, this is a short little book, and actually I'll note this, okay? So when I'm talking to people, this is totally not planned, but when I'm talking to people and they're asking me about book size, and I'm always saying the minimum we want is at least 30,000 words. Ron's book isn't quite 25,000 words, and we made it work. We made it smaller so you can compare it to Scott's book, right? You can see the size is different, and then here's the spine difference. And Scott's book, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'd guess it's probably 60,000 words. Again, I'm guessing. So you can have a very short book and make it work. And this book packs a lot of punch. If you are at all interested in having the best possible vegetables, the best possible fruit, and yard with all organic stuff or natural, none of this no chemical solutions to weeds or things like that. This book has all the secrets. So it's very, very cool. But anyways, just showing you. Now, there are some situations where pages have fallen out of this book. So the spine is just barely big enough to handle, creating a good quality book. So just FYI, because a lot of people ask for book size. Hey, Ernest, welcome. Thanks for saying hello. Okay, so I got distracted talking about that. Today we're going to talk about, I've had some conversations with people who hired other service companies to help them with some aspects of their book publishing. And in that conversation that I had last week, this person published through a company called Balboa in, I think, late last year, and was wanting to redo a bunch of things. The book hasn't done very well. He also said he hadn't done a lot to market it either, but he wanted to change up some things. So as we were discussing the things that we would do and how we would help him, I said, but before we get too deep in this, I need to understand what you can and can't do under your relationship with Balboa. And it turns out, even though he has the rights to the content in his book, he doesn't actually get the source files, and he doesn't have access to where they're uploaded. So here's where that becomes a problem, and it really makes me question who really does control this book, because in order to make any changes, he has to recreate the book. So what I mean by source files are your cover files, not the PDF that you use, but the InDesign file if it was done in InDesign. So he doesn't have access to any of these things. So if we were to create a new cover, we have to take his existing cover and rebuild it, which is doable, but it's recreating work that's already been done. So if you were working with any other company, there's kind of three big things to watch out for or to ask. And number one would be, how will you be able to make changes in the future? How do you access your book? Because the other thing is he can't access it wherever it's uploaded. So let's just say it's uploaded to Ingram Spark. He doesn't have access to that. So if he wants to make any changes to the description, to keywords, to anything, he has to go through them. So my question to any company that you're considering working with is, how will you be able to make changes in the future? If the answer is you have to go through them, just know that this could be extremely problematic. I like to control my stuff, so it really gives me a real nervousness that I wouldn't be able to access it and make changes myself. The next thing is, and of course the other question is, how much is it going to cost if you do want to make changes, right? The next thing is, what is the markup on print books that you're ordering? Because if you don't get to order direct, then you're probably paying some sort of a markup to go through them. So ask them, what is the markup at, like, specifically. Some companies are very clear in disclosing it's $2 per copy or something like that. So find out, our clients, we give them access to their print-on-demand accounts. They can order direct, so they're paying the lowest possible price, and they can even see the bulk arrangements. But a lot of other companies have a fee on top of this to order from them, so just make sure you ask that. And finally, if they offer any marketing services, get clear on what those are. So this particular client ordered like a light marketing service, which turned out it was, I think, a press release, bookmarks, postcards, and I'm trying to think of what else. Maybe, a book catalog. I think the book got listed in some sort of a catalog. So guess what, guys? Bookmarks and postcards don't sell your books. I mean, if you get them in the hands of the very specific right person, it may over time if they get inundated with enough messages from you, but they just don't sell books. They look nice. Press releases, very rare they're going to do anything. They can. There's certain situations where we do create press releases. Sarah just crafted one on the weekend. Sarah's our book marketing person, for those of you who aren't familiar. And but generally speaking, a press release doesn't do a whole lot either. It's really about direct pitching specific to the media, crafting that angle that's going to make sense for that media. So if you're paying for a marketing package, make sure you understand specifically what it is, and that it's stuff that's actually going to matter and actually going to sell books, because that makes a huge, huge difference in the long run. Again, if you just joined, I've got books to give away for anybody who's here. So make sure you say hello, because I will be adding your name into the draw. And there's 4 books to choose from today. 2 I've already told about. The other 2 are books that are coming out next week. One is called The Joy of Compounding, and it's by Gautam Baid. Comprehensive book. It is packed. He studied 200 of the smartest people essentially in investing and finance in the last, I don't even know if it was a time period, but it was 200 of the smartest folks. He's studied them, compiled that along with his experience, and and piled it into one book. So it is comprehensive, and it's also about lifelong learning. So very, very cool subject. The other book that's coming out next week is A Doctor's Perspective on CBD by Dr. Mark Lindholm, a chiropractor who in some ways is putting himself out of business with CBD. He said it's cured some of his clients, so they don't need to come see him as a chiropractor. But he's really passionate about and put in some really good case studies of all the different ailments, which opened my eyes, because I always kind of thought CBD oil was good for pain, but I didn't realize all the applications that that people have had success using CBD oil for, and how safe it is if you know what to choose in terms of the right oil. So really great book. So those are the other two books that you will get to choose from. Hey, hi Tim, so good to see you. You would love the Joy of Compounding. Also, you might like the CBD oil too. Who knows? John, hey, hello from Newport Beach. Hey, you're not far. Awesome, good to have you guys here. So thank you so much. So going back to my main topic, I'm going to talk about audiobooks in a minute. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything in terms of working with another publishing company. Make sure that you've got the right, you understand the clauses, you understand what you're signing. And I think I hit most of those points. So if you guys have questions, you can go ahead and ask me. The other thing is, so a lot of people with Balboa in particular, this comes up all the time, and I don't normally like to name names, but I want people to be aware of this. So a lot of people sign up for Balboa as a self-publishing company because it's under Hay House, and Hay House is a traditional publisher. And I don't know whether Hay House says this specifically or it's just kind of become the rumor in the world, but a lot of people sign up for Balboa because they think it gives them a better chance at Hay House deal. The reality is, I have not met somebody that's been a Balboa publisher that's become a Hay House that didn't have massive success as a self-published author. And so what that means is any traditional publisher would have looked seriously at them if they sold a whole bunch. So they didn't need to be with Balboa. They just needed to have a big platform and sell a lot of books. The only thing is maybe, and I'm just saying this maybe because I don't know, maybe because they were under Balboa, Hay House would have seen the big sales sooner. I don't know. But Hay House actually outsources this. So a lot of the services inside of Balboa are run by a company called Author Solutions. And you can Google Author Solutions to see how well, you can see what their reputation is. So Author Solutions. All right, that's all I'm saying about that. If you are here, do say hello. I see some new people have arrived. Hey, Fee. Oh, I'm so glad you made it. Great to have you here. Okay, so I'm going to do the first draw for a book. And you guys are all here live. So what I need is to pick a number randomly. How am I going to do this? Just trying to think of how I could do this so it's fair. I'll just randomly pick a number, and then I'll just go to the comments. So I'll pick number 6. Okay, number 6, because that's a number that's showing up on the top left-hand side of my screen. So we'll go number 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So John Mack, hey, you get to choose which book you want to be sent. So if you weren't here at the beginning, I said that there's Screaming for Pleasure, which is about horror, a fantastic read. If you are at all interested in anything in the horror genre, I highly recommend this book. The Green Wizard, if you have a garden, or you would like to have a better lawn or garden, fantastic tips, super fast read, and it's all about no chemicals, natural stuff, cheap stuff that you probably already have in your house for making your garden and vegetables grow fantastically. Or the 2 books that we are a part of launching next week, which is The Joy of Compounding and A Doctor's Perspective on CBD. So what you need to do is email me at team, @booklaunchers.com with your mailing address and your choice of book, and we'll get them off to you. So congratulations. Tim gave me the number 7, so we'll use that one next. I'll have to go 7 from John Max. We need a few more comments because I don't think there's quite 7 comments from there. So if you're here, make sure you say hello, because I'm going to give one more book draw before we wrap up. Okay, the last thing I wanted to quickly touch on, I had some questions. Actually, Ernest, I saw you had a question. So he's asking if with Ingram Spark, is it advisable to select 55% in order for the hardback to be in bookstores? If you want any retail distribution, you have to select 55%. That's, if you don't care about retail distribution, then you don't have to select that. You can go to a different rate. So hopefully that helps. Okay, audiobooks. So actually, I think this might have been your question, Fee. You were asking me about audiobooks. Like, I think it was a general question now that I'm thinking about it on YouTube. But I had some other people asking whether they should record their own audiobook. So really quickly, my perspective on this is if you're a nonfiction author, then you should probably record your own audiobook. If there's some reason why you can't read very well, and it would be very painful or slow or ineffective for you to actually be the one reading out loud for your book, if you have any sort of speech impediments, then it's probably not worth the pain and effort to read it. But with that exception, with those exceptions, I would say you really should read your own audiobook, because it's going to help establish that you're going to be the voice in the head of other people. So you're going to get that trust. They're going to hear your voice in the future, and they trust you. They're going to know and like you. You also are going to be able to better explain your points, emphasize the right things, and communicate emotion in the stories that do have emotion inside of your nonfiction book. If you're a fiction author, hire a professional or get coached on it, because fiction really, most of the people reading fiction are voice actors, so they've been specifically trained in this. Again, this is really high level, but I encourage most of my authors to do their own books. And in terms of the logistics of how you do it, generally, it's best to just go into a studio. It doesn't cost that much to rent a studio. You're going to have somebody there right on site, getting you to correct your mistakes as you go. It'll reduce the number of pickups you have to do. Pickups are after the fact, when somebody's editing your book and there's a flaw, a stumble, or our mouths make really weird sounds. So when you're recording your audiobook, there's a lot of weird clicks and clacks and spit. So an editor will send you pickups. But if you have somebody in a studio recording it with you, then they can flag it, record and re-record right there. So it'll really minimize the amount of pickups that you do. Our clients who are doing it in studio are going back and doing one round of pickups, and it's really fast. When I did mine, I set up a home studio, and I had to do probably 2.5 hours and 3 different rounds of pickups. It was a lot of work because I didn't have that person there fixing it as I went. But you can record a home studio. What you should not do is, if you're a podcaster, just pull out the old podcasting mic and use that. It really does require a higher level of sophistication of audio quality, and it does require much more experienced audio editor that's going to produce and master it. And that's largely driven by Audible. Audible's quality standards are really, really high, and it really does require, and the audio listener has a different level of expectation and tolerance for the quality than a podcast listener. So you're almost always need to bring in the professionals for this to get a high quality result. That will hopefully change in the future, because it is expensive to produce audiobooks right now. Can you add multiple comments? Of course you can add multiple comments. Comment away, the more the merrier. All right, so we need a couple more comments, and then I'm going to draw for another book, and then I'm going to do the usual YouTube commenter prizes, and that'll be it for today, unless you guys have any more questions. So we need a couple more comments. So say hello if you're watching, say something else. You can tell me how strange this hair is. I miss my hairstylist back in Nanaimo, back home where Tim is. She always did a great job of my hair. And here in LA, where you would think there would be bazillion hairstylists who are awesome, I just can't find that one. I just can't find the best one, or at least one that doesn't charge $200 because they've cut Beyonce's hair once or some ridiculous thing. Okay, so we've got some comments now. Okay, here we go. Number 7 from Don Mack. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tim, it's like you rigged this. All right, Tim, congratulations. Hopefully you saw the 4 books that you can choose from. If not, I'll put them in the comments after. So let me know which book you want, and I will send it home with my parents because they're here right now. And unless it's the 2 that haven't been out yet, then I'll ship it to you. But if it's Scott's book or Ron's book, I'll send it home. Cool. So now, drum roll, yay! Oh, so congratulations, Tim, and thanks for tuning in. Now it's for the YouTube comments. So if you comment the day a video is released on YouTube, which is every Tuesday and Friday, then you get entered to win some fabulous book launcher swag. So today you can choose from, let's turn this here, a fabulous book launchers mug or our lovely journal, which every writer needs to keep track of all of the fantastic ideas that's running through your head. So you can choose between those 2 today. All right, so drum roll. Virtual drum roll. I'll put it up here so you guys can see I'm not cheating. And we'll pull it out. Last time, it was funny, I think Kevin McGuire was on here, and I had 2 in my hand, so I got him to choose whether I was pulling it from my left hand or my right hand. And he chose, so I did left hand, opened it up, gave it to the winner. And then in my right hand, which he didn't know until after I'd shut off, it was actually his name. All right, so the winner of the fabulous book launchers swag for today is Kevin Noby 1. So Kevin, I don't think you're on live today, but you're probably going to tune in to the YouTube afterwards. So thank you and congratulations. All you need to do is email me at team, @booklaunchers.com with your mailing address and whether you would like to have the journal or the mug. All right, folks, I'm just going to check to make sure there's no questions. Yeah, no one wants to hear dogs barking in the background. It's so true, especially on an audiobook, but even on a podcast. Tim needs a studio. Yeah, Tim's wife goes to my fantastic hairstylist in Nanaimo now. Okay, Anne doesn't want to talk about my hair. I totally understand. Hey, John Turner. Hello, welcome. All right, you guys, so that is the show for today. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching the replay, if you're watching the replay, do say hello like you're watching live. And of course, it counts if you're watching on the day it was released. So thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic Tuesday, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.